Hi, and welcome back to the Red Hat Certified System Administrator series. This video will be on the RHEL 10 update. So we plan to do the entire series again, but on the basis of the Red Hat 10 changes, as it's been quite a while since the previous videos. So this will be for Module 1, and it will be an introduction to myself and the exam overview. So about myself, my name is Colin England, and this is my channel Computer Security and Gadgets, or CSG. I have around 19 years of experience in information technology. I've been working with Linux probably 15 plus years, and yeah, it's been something I'm quite passionate about. I've been doing lots of different projects with Linux, run a lot of Linux at home as well, and on a work basis, I work for a large telecommunications company, and I have multiple qualifications in IT, mostly around security these days. I've got the CCSK, which is around cloud security, ITIL, which is like service management stuff, AWS Solution Architect, and some more, product specific qualifications around, specific security products, as well as the CISSP, which I've recently passed. I have a passion for educating others, so this is the reason why I'm doing these videos, really, is to share what knowledge I have and to hopefully help you all pass various exams or assist you in any way I can to gain knowledge on Linux or other videos I'm doing. So the Red Hat Certified System Administrator, for those not familiar, it's a globally respected credential. So it provides, it proves your skills to employees. So it's something that, one of those things that, especially if you're looking at for a role like a system administrator, DevOps engineer, or systems engineer, there's one of those qualifications that, that gives a big tick box on a lot of employers' wish lists. So it's a very, very good one, and it's well in demand as always. Yeah, and we see that generally that they earn a higher average salary than your non-certified peers. And it's also a prerequisite for the RHCE, which is the more advanced exam, which focuses on automation using Ansible. That's something I've covered in my previous series. Again, that's something probably I'll have to update as well. The skills you learn are very much transferable. So because you're learning Linux, it's a great foundation for other careers, parts of your IT career. So whether it goes into more DevOps, cybersecurity, certainly helped me in cybersecurity, cloud computing, it's brilliant because all of these things are foundationally based on Linux at the end of the day. And of course, by demonstrating a commitment to your professional development, you're looking as a more attractive candidate for employees seeking long-term talent. So let's talk about the exam itself. So to get the RHCSA, you have to actually perform an exam called the EX200. It's 3 hours long, and the candidates, you will have to complete practical tasks, so real-life tasks in a real-life environment. So they'll basically give you like a lab environment, and you'll have to do all these different scenarios. So they won't have like a load of multiple choice questions thrown at you or just, open-ended questions. It will have, achieve this on this system. And what you have to do is make the changes on the system to enable that. So maybe install Apache on the server. So you're going ahead and install that. And they may say, configure in XYZ way, and you'll configure that. And what you need to do is make sure that that's persistent. So if you reboot the system, that HTTPD comes up and is running and is configured correctly still. So that's very important because your score will be based on that outcome. So if you have a load of things you've set that's only in memory and you reboot the system as part of they'll reboot the system as part of the check-in, a lot of that stuff will just go away, right? So you just need to make sure that these things are configured in a way that they will be persistent. And your passing score for the exam is 210 points out of 300, which doesn't mean a lot to a lot of people, but 70% is generally. You do get partial credit. So if you, for example, again, deployed HTTPD, but you haven't configured it quite right, you'll get a partial credit for a lot of that. And you'll generally get your results within a few days. So you get a pass or fail with feedback and key errors, which is obviously a good thing. And I believe you also get a free retake of the exam as well, which is fantastic. So your study tips. So because it's such a hands-on exam, it's very important you set up a test environment, I believe, to try and actually try these things out. Maybe build your own lab, do all these scenarios yourself, manually do that. Then it's a good thing about using virtual machines is you could take snapshots, revert the snapshot when it's broken, and you don't have to worry about it's causing actual damage to your system at all. You've got these exam objectives. I heavily recommend you go through each of those exam objectives and try and study for them specifically. So that's a really good way to just act as like a checklist, and you could just go through each item one by one. You could also do, once you get a bit more hands-on and more comfortable with your command line, you could even start doing lab exercises yourself. You can set up a timer, develop those things, and just see how you're doing with time, and you can kind of get a feel of how far or how close you are to actually being ready to take the exam. And there are practice exams out there which we'll attempt in later videos, but it's also important to review the Red Hat training content if that's something you're interested in. Obviously they offer a full training, unlike this video, which is probably a bit more light than the full training. So I wanted to talk about some changes. So the last time I did the videos for the RHCSA was actually since when Red Hat 8. It's been a few years now since then. So we're talking about the Red Hat 10 now, which is 2 generations above. And there's quite a few major changes to the exam. So here's one of them, which is I'm sure a lot of people will be happy about, is the removal of container management. So I believe that's gone to its own exam now. And so they've completely removed container management from the exam, so you don't have to really learn too much about that. For software management, it was mainly focused on Yum and DNF. It's now got also included Flatpak. So the inclusion of Flatpak is just showing that people are using it a lot more. And it's a great way of, installing applications. SE Linux troubleshooting has been removed. So that's actually another good thing, because that's, again, one of the more complex tasks in the exam. But you have the other SE Linux objectives. So it will still have a fair amount of SE Linux in it. Some of the system tools, such as VDO and Stratis, have been removed. They are older. Yeah, they are older tools. And so they're not really used very often, so I'm quite pleased that they've been removed. It's not something that people do day to day nowadays. Previously, we had basic scripting was there for bash scripting or shell scripting. It was implied, but wasn't really a formal objective. So what they've done is actually had a section now for shell scripting, and they've actually got a bit more detail about the shell scripting, what you need. I kind of did cover this in previous videos, but again, I'll refresh this as part of this newer version. For the collaboration piece, there's also a task to configure set GUID directories, which is basically setting group IDs on directories. That's been removed. Again, that's something that's little used in real life. So I'll just go through the page itself. This is the Red Hat page on the Pacific exam. You can see there's the overview of the audience and the prerequisites. They do recommend you take the courses, or you got the work experience option. You can have a look at the objectives, and there's also a free assessment to see how well you are prepared. There's a what you need to know, which has more about the preparation, the exam format, scores, and any next exams. So I mentioned there's the RHCE as well there. And here are the 4 objectives. So they've got like major headings here. And then under those headings, you'll have the actual objectives themselves. So these are the ones I mentioned, to try and, almost tick box each one of these to make sure you know how to do each one of those. So there are a few, and I'll try and make videos on the lot. Okay, so Red Hat 8 is no longer, Red Hat 9 is no longer, we are now Red Hat 10. So obviously it's the next generation, so it's obviously going to have some decent improvements, and probably the number one on the list there is the AI helper. AI helper won't help you much in exam because obviously it'll make the exam very easy, potentially incorrect as well, because as we've seen, AI is not always 100%. But the RHEL has got a thing called RHEL Lightspeed, and it's basically a AI helper within the command line, and it allows you to, type in plain English what you're looking to achieve, and it will try and create a command or the simple scripts to actually help you resolve issues or do what you're trying to achieve in the system. So it can be quite good for your training when you're trying to find the solution to the issue. It might help you find the solution. But obviously, the important thing is not to rely on it, because with the exam, you're not going to be able to. We've also got some future proofing for security. With the future of quantum computers that might be able to decrypt certain cryptographic algorithms, they have actually included some future-proof options for that. And then finally in here, another one I've earmarked here is the image mode, which actually acts a bit like if you've used with Cisco routers and that, it kind of tries to create an image of your system that you can roll back to. So if you do an update and it doesn't work quite right, you can actually roll back using this image mode, which is actually a fantastic idea, and I think that'd be something that'd be really interesting and something I'll be really interested to try out. And lastly, I wanted to just really cover the future videos and how I'm going to kind of group them really. So I've tried to go module based. Obviously I try not to go every single one of those objectives one by one, because there'll be a lot of videos, but we'll try and group them into larger modules. The key thing to note is then they don't all exactly match to a specific objective. There may be a group of objectives, and we'll group them, and I'll kind of summarize what objectives we're achieving in this module, and we'll work to complete those objectives, and then hopefully you'll have a solid understanding of that module. That was all I really wanted to cover for this video. We'll start on module 2 in the next video. I just wanted to say thank you for taking a look, and if you find it useful, please subscribe, and there will be further videos coming shortly for the next modules.